Barry.
Yes.
Boudreaux.
Here.
Vaughn.
Here.
Crockett.
Here.
Geske.
Here.
Zimmelman. Mayor Lamore.
Yes, present.
We have a
Reading of the
quorum.
agenda. I'm sorry?
We have a quorum.
Yes, we do. The reading of the agenda. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda tonight?
I'd like to remove C. Orders 2538.
Okay.
You can't actually, you can, it's on the agenda, you can't actually remove it. I don't know why we have this stuff at the beginning, but if it doesn't pass, I mean, it's just, if nobody wants to make a motion, you can just pass on it. Just, it's similar to why you can't add things to the agenda. There's an Open Meetings Act.
But it does say deletions.
So we should just
I
delete that.
understand, I don't put that on there.
Or from the thing.
Yeah, you could just not
We
vote on
shouldn't
it.
have that line anymore, you're saying?
I don't know why we have it on.
Okay.
Okay. The reading of the minutes, are there any changes, corrections, or do I have a motion for approval?
I think we need to just make a couple corrections. I think Alan has already made those. I'll just read them out, we've got to push it to the next meeting just to make a couple, just clerical little things with like dates and names.
Do you want to say what they are?
Yes, I can say what they are. On the change on the, should have been on February 2nd. I don't have my computer open here,
We're
but.
on February 17, I think.
Right. It was on February 17th meeting. It should have, on the second one down, instead of January, it should have read February 2nd. And instead of officers, the spelling was wrong. Instead of Scully, it sounds that way, but it's Skelly, Skelly. And Don Leschner, Leshner.
There's no N.
The Lesher, I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't have that on there either. And there was one other one.
On the second page, it mentioned that Mayor Lamore went with someone to visit Harbor House. It was Don Lesher who went with
Don Lesher went with it, that's right.
Okay.
And instead of TIF, there was a D there, TID instead of TIF.
So we should vote on this at the next meeting to do these corrections?
No, you can vote on it as corrected.
Okay. Can I have a motion to accept those minutes?
There's on the very top, under attendees, you've got a typo on Skelly as well.
Right.
I know that there was one in the body of it, but up in the top portion.
There's another one up there, yes.
I'll make that motion with corrections.
Motion by Boudreaux? Second by Vaughn.
Do all in favor?
All in favor?
Abstain. I would abstain, I wasn't at the last meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, we are now at public participation, and the first speaker tonight is Mr. Wheeler, Andy Wheeler.
Thank you, Mayor and trustees, and everybody in the room. I appreciate the opportunity. Tonight I had just a couple of things regarding the emergency fire response team or fire brigade and the MOU progress. Per Chief Peterson, we all agree that, and that he authorized me to say this to you tonight, that we're all doing, what we're doing is working and it will scale throughout the phase build. So the things that I have reported on are the baseline things that we've agreed on. Then we can talk about the process a little bit, and also updates on phase 2. So many points of the agreement have been reached with the Township Fire Protection District in Goshen, Illinois. We agree to establish and fund the internal emergency fire response team led by on-shift response team of certified fire EMS staff, credentials validated by the Manteno Township Fire Protection District. The scope is obviously the I-2 facility. We'll have trained, and we actually currently have trained and certified EMT and fire professionals on site and on call 24/7, available for incipient fire and EMT services. The EMT resources, Goshen agrees to utilize internal employees with emerging needs and has engaged with a third party to help determine what call volume would dictate an increased EMT resource and on-site physician's assistant. That's a data point that we're all concerned with making sure we pay correctly. So other agreed upon items were the coverage now and during construction. I mentioned the 6 firefighters and EMS leads. We will have 12 on the fire response team with a full second shift, and that was agreed upon. The fire brigade response team coverage for overtime. Anytime we run overtime, there will be one member or the members of this team to stay with the overtime. They're not gonna go home while we're running, so to speak. We agreed to have an overall policy on scheduling and coverage with revisions as needed per the agreement. The team certifications in the current state of what we have been sent to the fire protection district, something that will evolve into a training schedule. So they're looking at their training, identifying the gaps, and they'll be kind of like the training officers for us. And that'll come later when we work out how to compensate them for that time, because obviously taxpayers shouldn't pay for us being trained, but it figures if we have your or their blessing, should I say, with the certifications, that's going right to the source of that need. So let's see here, Firewatch to the fire response, okay per plan as we scale. But anytime we're running, obviously we'll have the full team there. As we do the build outs, that's Firewatch because we have construction in the facility as well. We have a meet and greet set with the brigade and the fire protection district for training, exchanged response plans, discussion, and we're moving toward a drilling and testing phase as well. The BDA, which you may remember is the communication system, is the primary initial focus, so we don't build out and then have to install the communications later. We'll do it as we go through the whole building from now on. So I did want to spend just a moment to talk about the MOU process. First thing is the initiation of negotiations. Parties look at the need and the collaboration, and then we define the scope, which is where we're at, and clarify the mutual expectations and goals, and then we draft an agreement. So as we start to put all these together, you draft the agreement. Excuse me, it's being assembled purposefully as we go through this process, and updates and agreed upon details are reported regularly, just like tonight. So as we could talk to the village folks, we can come here, when we have our monthly meeting, or come here to tell you all. But then the legal counsels will both take a look at it once we get an MOU together. And then the execution will be authorized representatives sign it, and it's monitored for compliance and reviewed and updated and all of that kind of stuff. So the other updates, I apologize, I'm going a bit long, but obviously we're moving some dirt. You might have seen things. We're digging out the retention pond and also creating a parking area and a trailer city for the construction teams, like you saw in front of CSL, a place to drop trailers while they're using those, because we're full of equipment. We got boxes and everything is everywhere. We're busting those open, assembling the lines as we speak. Well, I have to look at the time, but I know we got people over there opening boxes. And then let's see here. Phase 2 is the cell production line project. It's roughly 2/3 of the facility's layout. So we built out and have occupancy on the first third, which is just assembly. Now the cell production comes, that's that whole 2/3 to the west in the building, and then it's set to begin in the fall of 26. So it's going to be a pretty quick timeline to have one line up and running, and then it will intersect with the currently running module and pack lines, phase 1. So local employment levels are going to balloon at that point, once we need to hire that 4-shift operation cell production area. That's where it really never shuts down. It just keeps running except for PM, few and far between. Let's see here. I'm also proud to announce.
Andy, in fairness to the rest of the speakers, can we wrap it up here shortly?
Yeah, I got 2 items. One, we had roughly 40 Hopkins Park and Pembroke residents that just completed the bridge program. About half of them got job offers, and most of those are going to China for the cell production school as train the trainers. They'll come back, and we're going to reduce the amount of people that go, because they're going to be training people here on site. And then some of the subs are looking to hire out of that pool as well. know that when we're ready to hire for those new cell lines, it's largely clean room environments, and we'll be holding large community recruitment events. More to come on that, and thank you all. Have a
Andy, real quick,
Yeah.
before phase two starts, we will have that memorandum of understanding with the fire department completed and executed?
I don't know that we would have it executed, but we're drafting it as, that's.
Andy, let me ask you another question.
That's,
Let
I'm
me
sorry, I
ask
need
you-
that answer
okay.
as first.
Yeah, yeah. I got a question.
That's why I explained the MOU process. You get everything on the table, then you draft it. So we're actually putting together the components right now, and then it will be drafted. I just don't know how long it's gonna take for them to backfeed information, talk to their people. I can't commit to that, but I can tell you that we've got a vast majority of it done. So I'm putting it on paper right now to be finalized with the last few things. So I can give you a better timetable when that happens. Yes, sir. Sorry.
Well, my concern is, as Joel knows, is we were there 2 months ago, and this MOE has gone nowhere. And then my second question is.
Actually, it has. It has gone.
Who's monitoring the facility when the first shift of people is done and the fire brigade goes home?
That's all on Fire Watch.
Okay, who is the fire watch?
Those are the trained security folks that
Okay, so
are,
it's your security guards, correct?
Correct.
So if there's happened to be a fire in the evening time after shift, who are they gonna call?
who are they gonna call?
The fire department.
The alarms go off
Okay, but
automatically.
they call our fire department, correct?
The alarms go off automatically.
You didn't answer
Yes.
my question. Do they call our fire department?
They do not call your fire department.
They're
The
gonna call
alarms
your
go
fire
off.
brigade first.
The alarms call everybody at the same time.
Well, you don't have fire brigade there at that time, correct?
We have
You don't
fire
have- you don't-
watch
Right now,
on
you have them on
site.
8-hour shifts, correct?
And sometimes with an extra 4. in
But
the
you don't
back.
have anybody for the other 16 hours of the day, other than security.
Security, and we have about, I'd say probably 10 hours coverage during the day. And we only run for the 8 hours.
Okay, so, but my question was, is that you don't have anybody there when no one's working the facility?
No, that's where the $2 or $3 million of equipment takes over.
You know, I have a question. Do you have anybody that inspects your containers coming into the plant? What's in the containers? I mean, is there anybody that,
There's
know.
bills of lading, so when you open those up, then you check them.
well,
against
I
the
know
bill of
that,
lading.
but I mean, is there anybody physically checking the containers that come into the plant? Is there, do you have a
When they're
specific-
set down, we accept the shipment, and then when they're laid out, then we bust open the containers and compare it to the bill of lading. So you
So-
can't inspect every truck that comes in, you do as you take it in the facility and place it.
So the answer is no.
I'm sorry?
So the answer is no?
No, we do inspect what's inside of there, but not as soon as it comes through the gate.
So you let it sit there for a while before it's inspected?
Yeah, we have to check it in because we're laying things out in order. Not everything shows up in order. So they're containers versus machines, materials to build the conveyors,
So if there,
all of that
well,
stuff.
just my question, if there was anything nefarious in there, how would you know it? I mean, it's just a question. How would you know that?
I'm sorry, that's not a question.
It is a question.
It's gone through
If there
two
was
major
something,
ports
what
in
I'm
the
saying
United
is,
States.
if there was something in one of those containers that was coming into that plant, how would you know what's in there? I mean, is there any way to,
I would say that the ports of entry in Elwood and in Long Beach would have a pretty good idea what's in there. That's their job, is to inspect that stuff when it comes into the United
so,
States.
but you don't, I mean.
We
as far
do,
as the
actually,
plant-
when it comes into the
Okay.
facility. Yes, I can't let there be an impression we don't know what's going on.
Okay, that was
I thought
just
I
a-
was coming to public comment. I'm
No,
sorry,
that
I
was
didn't
just
know
a
I was gonna be-
question I had, that,
It's somewhat, I would say, a legitimate question
Mm-hmm.
if you're suspicious of something. But it's not a legitimate question if you're building a factory.
Does anybody else have any other questions?
okay, no, thank you.
Thank you for answering those.
Okay, you're welcome. Have a good night.
The next speaker is Ann Gates.
Oh, good evening.
Yeah, I talked to the chief today.
Few meetings ago, Mr. Wheeler introduced Mr. Patinsky that they flew in from Washington, whom he explained was an integral head of CFIUS in Trump's first term. But after Mr. Trump was no longer in office, Mr. Patinsky became a part of the law firm of Morgan & Lewis and counsel for Goshen, and in the succeeding years, and still is counsel for Goshen on their payroll. So why should we trust him? We shouldn't. In a Senate committee hearing from September 2025, Senator Smith and others were questioning a gentleman President Trump wants to assign to restructure CFIUS. Senator Ricketts found that the front end, the no disclosure agreements, made it possible for China's CCP purchase land through LLC and multiple shill companies, everything from manufacturing to industrial facilities. Avril Haines testified to the Counterintelligence Committee that China poses a threat to our country through the purchasing of land adjacent to and close to military and sensitive technology locations, transactions that should have been flagged by CFIUS as a national security threat by the previous administration, working in concert with both local and state politicians, made non-disclosure agreements that were passed through and not passed to CFIUS, or they would have been flagged as a national threat. Through the American Land Protection Act of the United States of America, the non-disclosure agreements will be flagged immediately in Trump's restructuring of CFIUS, and will cover the gaps left by the last administration. 3 months ago, 60 Minutes did an expose on the intel and military of China's CCP and their intent through land purchases to hold data centers, solar fields that pose a long-range threat. And David Fife of the National Security Council said CCP prefers to be in close to military, nuclear, and governmental facilities. Gee, what do you know? They're 20 miles away from 3 nuclear facilities and 4 military, where they're located right over there. Isn't that a coincidence? He explains that some of the solar panels contain data collection capabilities as well as a kill switch. Can I continue?
One
This
more
is
minute.
important.
1 more minute.
Okay. So having said all that, we were misled by Mr. Patinsky that he has no vested interest because clearly he's on the payroll. He presented this as a green field. It's not a green field. It was swayed so that we would not speak up and say, hey, what's going on here? That threatens our water, it threatens our air, it threatens our land, it threatens the cost of our home. Life insurance, have you checked it out? Health insurance rates are going up because they know what that poses, and so do we. Later on this evening, you will be taking a vote on whether a trustee should be allowed to Zoom in for a vote. You are doing, again, robbing the public of their voice because a trustee is a selected, voted in seat. Am I not right?
Yes.
They're voted. So if you can't fill the job and you can't be here, then you should do the right thing and step down. Why wasn't the same thing offered to the gentleman, Mr. Phillips, that was also sick? That wasn't offered to him. But you're willing to change the rules now so that you can have her sit in on a Zoom and maintain her place on the committee for a vote. That is not representing the people of this town or this county or this state in a fair way. And last but not least, Mr. Kreisel, I think is how you pronounce his name, he showed us a number of photographs, and then they did a real nice expose before we went to court on TV, lots of commercials about how wonderful Goshen is, and this is one of the pictures that they posed. So I took the picture of it off my TV, and I went and I took it, I had it enlarged. Isn't it interesting that over half of the faces in this
Yeah.
photograph that's enlarged are all redacted.
Ann, it's time.
Okay. So why would you redact? Either they're illegal here without a working permit,
Thank you.
or they're on a watch list.
Our next speaker is Francine Fatima. Francine Fatima?
Good evening. On Friday, the 28th of February, there was a very good forum, and that involved 3 of the Republican candidates running for governor. That's going to be on March 17th. It's a primary election. And the 3 candidates that came were Sheriff Mendrick, Rick Hedron, or however you pronounce it, and my favorite, Ted Bukowski, one of my people. The only advice, though, that I'm offering tonight is for everyone to go vote. It's so very important. I don't think we all realize the importance of it, but take a look at the national and international news and you see what Iran is all about. Scary stuff. I really didn't have anything. It's quite obvious. I'm just very hopeful that with the election coming up, the primary, it's very important, but that people just come out because this country is worth saving. Thank you.
Thank you, Francine. Our next speaker is Jake Smith.
Good evening. I'm Jake Smith, a 28-year-old Manteno resident, mental health, suicide awareness, prevention advocate. I started doing a yearly walk in the year 2020 to raise awareness for mental health and suicide because it's a silent killer in our community. But in addition to also raising just awareness, I am raising money, in which I spoke about 2 weeks ago at the previous meeting. And so I'm proposing raising money for a
Memorial?
memorial fountain plaque to basically serve as a monumental symbol. And I think the best idea is to put something like a message as opposed to names, because you run into the issue of people not wanting names on there, people asking why is this name not on there, why is that name not on there, but this one is. I think a message of sort of encouragement and about grieving, and followed by the suicide hotline number would be the best way to go to make it more all-inclusive, because unfortunately, even after adding names, the names unfortunately just keep piling up. And so right now my goal is 5,000 because that's what it says on the website for those things. I'll up that goal if I need to, but right now I'm happy to share that so far in just under 2 weeks I've raised $1,295, which is 26% of that goal.
Jacob, when you get all your plans firmed up, why don't you come to a committee meeting and present that?
For
so
sure.
The trustees can all approve it.
I can't make the morning meetings.
Okay. Well, we have evening meetings too.
Okay,
Maybe one of the 5 o'clock meetings.
for sure.
There'll be 2 of them in, 2 weeks? 2 weeks from tonight.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is George Reichert.
throw everybody for a loop tonight. I don't like what's going on in this town. Everybody knows I don't like what's going on in this town. I never will be in favor of Goshen over there. And I really do not like what Goshen is doing to this community as far as the citizens of Manteno. They divided this town. I know I come across pretty harsh sometimes, but I am really a good person. Believe it or not. Joel, I am. And I just wanted to make a public apology to Annette Zimmerman. I'm not going to go into detail, but I understand she has some health issues, and I do not hate that woman, okay? And she is in my prayers to get well. I mean, maybe she still hates me. A lot of women do hate me. But I do not hate that woman. Just so I want everybody to know. I'm hoping she's watching and she understands. I mean, I don't know her well enough to hate her, you know? I just jumped on the bandwagon because of Goshen, you know? They divided this town, you know? I mean, I've talked with Joel in the past, and we've had some good conversations, and, you know, I would like to be friends with everybody in this town. But just this stupid plant coming here just ruined this town, is what happened. And I just wanted to wish her to get well soon.
Thank you,
Thank
George.
you.
Next speaker is Bob Forsythe.
This morning, or this afternoon, we had the first speaker, Andy Wheeler. I really hope you guys question what he does. He sold us down the drain in 2022, and he has continued to lie and cheat and everything else. He started at the county board. We seen him. We saw how he acted up there. We saw what he did. And now he's here trying to sell it again. But just last week, there was a House committee meeting. It's a 36-page report about the Chinese Communist Party in Latin America. And you guys can go look it up. And it talks about the security risk to the Western Hemisphere. So you guys might want to look into this and try to figure this all out before they get any farther. He talked about his fire brigade. What year is his fire truck? Do you guys know what year the truck is? Is it up to current technology? Or is it a antique fire truck?
I don't think we know the year exactly, but he did buy a secondhand truck.
So is that truck up to current technology standards of today? I mean, I just find it hard to believe that we just take Andy Wheeler for his word, which is usually worthless. But, I mean, I don't get it. But.
Thank you, Bob. The next speaker just wrote initials, DC. Oh, it's Dolly.
Can't believe we even have to discuss this. However, here I am.
Dolly Carsons.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, my comments are about the attendance or the lack thereof of board members at the village meetings. There are several reasons why the village board should not be voting on remote attendance at meetings. Village laws and ordinance exist to serve the people, not to be changed for the personal convenience of individual trustees or a political party. The proposed change appears intended to accommodate an appointed trustee who was not elected by the residents, rather was appointed by the previous administration. Trustees accepted their positions with the understanding that in-person attendance is mandatory and it is a core responsibility if they are unable to fulfill their duties. Then they should reconsider their role and step down. Trustees work for and are accountable to the people of Manteno, not to one another. It is not the place of trustees to offer forgiveness or favors to a trustee who fails to do their job by not showing up at meetings, no matter what the reason. Altering an ordinance to benefit someone who was appointed raises concerns also about political conflicts of interest. Remote attendance reduces transparency and robs both the board and the public from verbal and visual interaction, effectively turning participation into remote voting rather than open deliberation. It then becomes a tool solely for the purpose of influencing policy through a remote vote. If remote voting becomes acceptable, then why bother even having public meetings? You know, you could just do it via Zoom. Also, if trustees are allowed to participate remotely, the same opportunity should logically be extended to the residents who can't attend in person. Anything less risks inconsistent or unequal treatment. Yeah. How can the public trust the sincerity of a remote vote? Remote voting raises questions about transparency, like I said, since the public can't see the trustee's environment or level of engagement during a vote. A remote vote disallows the public's ability to see if a trustee is under the influence of outside coercion or any other influences. So the integrity of the voting process is too important to allow for remote participation. Taxpayers should not have to bear the additional cost for technology or accommodations made solely for an unelected trustee. Trustees are expected to serve the public, not the other way around. Residents expect their representatives to be physically present, engaged, and accountable. The people of Manteno did not vote for the equivalent of an absentee voter who seems to only show up to push specific agendas, my opinion. Manteno residents want a true representative who understands the importance of being there in person like they agreed to when they took this ever-important job. You trustees are not you're not representing your constituents by even bringing this to a vote. That's why I said, why are we even doing this? It just seems that some trustees are just wanting to protect themselves and their agenda. And one other minor thing is also it would be helpful to the public if we could understand when this proposal was discussed, who requested it, and who drafted it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dana. The next speaker is Emily Herman.
Hi, I'm Emily Herman. I have basically the same thing to say that I did last time, but due to technical difficulties, I've been encouraged to come back and say everything again. That's fine. Things happen. Is this better? Okay. Hi. I'm so happy to be back up here again to raise awareness for adolescent and young adult cancers following my little setback in November. I'm here to share some exciting news that wouldn't have been possible without the continued support and encouragement of the village board and members of the community, a few of whom are sitting with me tonight. I didn't know when moving here almost 3 years ago how much this town prioritizes nurturing community projects, small businesses, and opportunities for citizens to support one another. This is very much needed in today's world and sadly rare. Emphasizing service and volunteerism is especially encouraging to my generation and younger, giving us a good foundation on how to care for one another and open our eyes to issues going on in today's world that don't get talked about enough. Here comes my exciting news. Ever since starting my project Cute and Acute in 2024, I've created well over 100 care packages and envelopes, walked and ran over 200 miles during chemo for leukemia awareness, and reached over 3.5 million people online to raise awareness for various issues that affect the adolescent and young adult cancer community. It's about time that I take it to the next step and make it an official 501c3. A cancer organization called Nick's Wish out of Rockford, Illinois, has granted my wish of making this possible. I look forward to continuing to work with the community to raise awareness, provide encouragement to fellow fighters, and attempt to make this town a little more accessible for those navigating a health crisis. There are some issues that need addressing in the future as the problem we are seeing more and more of with citizens disregarding laws surrounding handicap parking spaces, continuing to keep medical fundraising events easy to apply for, and raising awareness to control harmful chemical pollution from factories in this town. I have learned a lot from the community participation portion of these meetings and have made note of these issues as they affect who I advocate for along with myself going through cancer. Once again, thank you for the continued encouragement, not only for my project, but all of the others in town too. Continuing these positive steps will keep allowing us to move in the right direction on how we care for our neighbors. I would just like to say something that I've added after seeing what has been going on tonight. It does not matter what people believe in this town. I will raise awareness for everyone going through cancer. I will make a care package for anyone going through cancer. Nothing will divide my take on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. The final speaker tonight is David Bergdahl.
Good evening. Last week, middle of the week, I was surprised. I popped onto Facebook and I saw an announcement that Jacob Knox is resigning as chairman and CEO of the Chamber of Commerce and from his position at the Village as Director of Community Marketing. I was kind of surprised. Then I thought back, realized that's an incredibly stressful job. I was the last chamber president who didn't have any paid staff help and realized if I thought the job was pretty awful, it can't be that much better 30 years later. He's done a great job. But one of the questions I get a lot because of my background is whether his position as half chamber, half a village is in some ways a conflict of interest. And probably 80% of the time, the village and the Chamber of Commerce would basically take the same position on most issues. But as we've seen in the last couple of years, I think Mr. Knox has been put in some very difficult situations because the chamber has been dealing with things perhaps more because the village has asked them, the chamber, to do that than what chamber membership may want. It is my thought that given his resignation, it is time for you to set up a meeting with the Chamber of Commerce and see if it is time to sever the relationship between the chamber and the village for this position. There are now two, if I'm not mistaken, there at least were two people working in the office. And if it's time to make one of them full-time chamber and the other one full-time village, rather than having them split time between the two. Again, there are a number of issues out there where you could tell that Jacob could not be very comfortable because the chamber's position probably should not have been the same position as the village. And having the dual role put him in a position of some difficulty and just having to go with the village line. Again, as the last person who did the job without any paid staff, I learned a lot about the community. And I believe at this point, he's learned a lot about the community. I think going forward, you may be better severing that relationship rather than putting the next person in the position of having to deal with, is this better for the chamber or for the village?
Thank you, David. Okay, so that is the end of public participation. We're going to move on to the village president's report. And tonight, we have the honor of having Jenny, how do you say your last name, Jenny? Shane Wetter here from the Harbor House to give a short presentation. Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity to come and talk to you a little bit about Harbor House. Thank you so much. Our past, present, and future. So many of you hopefully have heard of us. Hopefully this isn't the first time you've heard our name. We've been in the community for over 45 years, started as a group of volunteers that used their own homes as the safe houses and their home phone numbers as the hotline. Fast forward 45 years and now we're an organization that has 4 facilities and we're at a very exciting point in our story. So I want to tell you about that and tell you about a request that we have for the village of Manteno. And Mayor Lamore, I'm going to ask for some of your thoughts as you've been able to be involved in this a little bit more than others. Harbor House exists to serve survivors of domestic violence. We offer free and confidential services ranging from our 24-hour hotline and chat line, counseling for adults and children, support with the court system, 2 emergency shelters, and more. Again, free and confidential. We exist because of the community, because of community support, because of advocates who've come alongside to believe that nobody should go through the worst experience of your life alone. Because domestic violence doesn't just impact a family, it impacts an entire community. More than 10 million women and men are impacted across the country, more than 15 million children. Domestic violence also has a safety aspect. More than 68% of mass shootings have a domestic violence connection. So when we think of domestic violence, it's not just a family matter, it's not just a behind closed doors matter, it is a matter that impacts all of us, including the village of Manteno. One of our strong advocates and also a co-founder of the Kankakee County Domestic Violence Task Force is Chief Swinford, and I asked him to pull some statistics about domestic violence within Manteno specifically, because we know it's the #1 violent crime in the county, and that's not unique to here.
It is, yes. So far this year, obviously since January 1st, Manteno Police has responded to 18 domestic violence-related calls. Given we're just into March, that's quite a few. Last year, we responded to 184. So some simple math tells you about every other day we're responding to a domestic violence call, which is by far our most common type of call we go to. And you know, when I talk about domestic violence, and compare it to other types of crimes, you know, we're fortunate that we live in a very nice community that doesn't suffer from shootings regularly, homicides, armed robberies, occasionally, but not regular like other communities have to deal with. Domestic violence affects every community evenly. So whether you're Chicago, Kankakee, Clifton, or Manteno, it's the same across the board. So it's a high priority for us. We do the best we can. However, we need expert help, and Harbor House is that expert help for us. It's one of the most complicated, dangerous calls we go to. It's complicated for the victim to navigate the system, to understand what she's going through, understand what the police are doing, understand the court process. We can't supply that for them. You know, we're there to supply immediate safety, make an arrest if it's appropriate. From that point, we have to hand it off to experts, and we need those experts in the community to help these victims, of which we have many, unfortunately. So I support Harbor House. I've been working with Harbor House for pretty much most of my career, at least 30 years, and I don't know what we'd do without them. They're our only shelter in the community, and unfortunately that is woefully undercapable. They turn down a lot of our victims, unfortunately, because they have to. So I support them fully.
Chief just touched on the exact reason why I'm here, that we have to turn down victims woefully because we don't have space. Last fiscal year, Harbor House had to deny requests for shelter 730 times due to space limitations. It's in the case for support that you have in your folders. And I want to repeat that. 730 times we had to say no to somebody seeking a safe night's sleep because they thought they were going to die that day before. We don't hang up the phone, we do safety planning, we do everything we can, but we need more space. We have advocates that are sharing offices, our legal advocates and others that are sharing offices. Only 30% of our clients, out of 600 clients, utilize our residential services. The 70% utilize our walk-in services like legal advocacy and counseling. They need more space, not sharing offices. We answer more than 3,500 hotline calls from the community. Like I mentioned, we serve 600 survivors, and we provide about 10,000 nights of shelter right now, and we need to do more. Mayor Lamore, you had a chance to see our home. You had a chance to walk through our shelter and to see some of those limitations firsthand. What were some of your thoughts about that, if you don't mind asking?
There are several things that really touched me. The tiny amount of space that a family gets when they arrive at their shelter. And thank God for the shelter. Where would they go? But they have a very small room. There's one bedroom, and it's got 2 stacked up bunk beds, and was there a bed at the end also?
Just the 2 sets of bunk beds.
That was it?
And then a small couch.
So there's just enough space to walk between those bunk beds, and the whole family's going to sleep in there. And I was also very impressed by your pantry. They have a pantry with a lot of food items, and it's like a scaled-down version of our Manteno food pantry. Every item is marked with the date that it expires, and those are brought to the front of the shelf so that they're used first. But the people who come and stay with you can go into that pantry and plan their meals and take it back to their tiny little apartment that has like a kitchenette the size of what you'd see in a hotel. There's no kitchen table. I didn't see a table with chairs around it. I saw
Very small little table, easy to miss.
I just saw a small couch. It's so little, It's smaller than any hotel room I've ever been in. But they were so organized with the food, and they're so, generous. They have everything that you would need, not that there's an abundance, but you need more donations. And also, there was a closet down the hall that impressed me, because when Jenny opened it up and I saw what was in there, it was filled with brand-new toys, so that any of the children who came in after a night of trauma could find a toy that would comfort them and make them feel special, like they had something of their very own. Those three things were the things that touched me. And then finally, when I was getting ready to leave, I think Jenny showed us the hot button. So to make that place secure, in case anybody tries to come and break in and get somebody out of there, there's a hot button that she can push. And you said the police would be there in, 3 minutes?
Very quickly, very quickly.
Yeah, so I was impressed with that, because that would make me feel safe if I was in there. So I thank you for everything you and your people do, because it's so needed in today's world, and we want Kankakee County to be safe for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for all of that support and for helping us to identify what that crisis is. But I've got good news. We've also worked towards the solution, which Mayor Lamora has gotten to see the detailed plans, and Chief Swinford, some of those plans around what we're working towards as a community. We are currently doing construction on a new 12,000 square foot facility that houses an expanded emergency shelter, as well as additional confidential program spaces. You're wondering, why are you doing construction? Because it seems like you're here for a little bit of a fundraising vibe, and you're not wrong. This project is $4.5 million, and we're starting the construction now because we got a $2 million DCEO grant, and if you know anything about state and federal funds, they have their own timelines. And so out of that $4.5 million project, $2 million is being funded by that grant, which actually the city of Kankakee received that grant on our behalf and is managing the liability and all administration of it. We also are committing out of our own reserves $500,000 towards that $4.5 million, because we knew we aren't going to ask anybody else to do something that we're not willing to do first. We want to lead by example and invest in our own work. The last $2 million coming out of a capital campaign. So we have been approaching different communities, such as Village of Manteno. We've approached different churches. We just hosted an ecumenical breakfast 2 weeks ago, I think that was, and had about 70 different faith leaders from our community, including Manteno, present to involve their congregations. We've been quietly fundraising behind the scenes, and I'm pleased to tell you we're at over $1.5 million raised. We're almost there. The end is in sight, but also it's not done yet. There's still that gap that we need to fill, and so we do want to ask the Village of Manteno to be involved in this. We've had 5 other communities within Kankakee County commit funds towards this, totaling about $80,000 so far. And we're going to continue approaching all of the other communities. I have other presentations even scheduled this week at other city council meetings. And so our request for the Village of Manteno is based on your population. So based on best practices with our fundraising consultant, we're asking each community to commit $4 per resident of their community, because we serve every single community in Kankakee and Iroquois counties. And so based on the number that I got from the Google, that's $36,840. I want to tell you a story. Rewind 46 years. Our very first fundraiser that we did at Harbor House was we asked all the churches to donate 10 cents per parishioner, because that represented the cost of a call, the cost of a hotline call through a payphone to us for a night of safety. And churches got behind that and got involved. Now, $4 is a little more expensive than 10 cents. I also think the cost of economy is a little bit more expensive now than it was 45 plus years ago. But we ask for you to consider that donation, or whatever feels comfortable to you. We will be grateful for all of the support. Some communities have done that, some communities have done more, some communities have done less. We're grateful for everything, because it's all of us coming together that's going to make this happen. I want to close with a thought that's been guiding this process for us: defining moment, lasting impact. It's the name of our campaign. You'll see that throughout the folders that you have in front of you. This moment in our story, in Harbor House's 45 plus years, is very much a defining moment. It's a defining moment for us as an organization. We've never had an opportunity like this, and we wanted to make sure we were going to do it right. So we got the right people and the right seats in the bus to make sure that we could bring this to fruition. It's a defining moment in Harbor House's story, but it's not just us. It's a defining moment in survivors of domestic violence story. We all know a survivor of domestic violence, 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men. It's happening to the people sitting next to you in church. It's happening potentially to the people sitting next to you in this room right now. This is a defining moment for them, that when they pick up the phone or when police officers respond to their house and they need a safe place to go, they will be met with the yes, your bed is ready for you. Your family can sleep safely tonight and can get that toy that's that child's safe place. That's a moment of joy. So it's a defining moment for survivors of domestic violence, but more importantly, it's also a defining moment for our community. This has been a crisis. It's been an epidemic that has plagued us. In fiscal year 21, Kankakee County was ranked the 3rd highest for domestic violence homicides in the state of Illinois. By population, I would guess we're 18th, 17th? But we had the 3rd most domestic violence homicides in Illinois. Thanks to the Domestic Violence Task Force and Fatality Review that Chief Swinford was very instrumental in getting that started. I believe it was in 2024 we didn't experience any deaths due to domestic violence because our community's leaning in. Our community's saying there's no room for this and we will be safer, and that includes by providing expanded emergency shelter and additional confidential office spaces. So this project is a defining moment for our community as well, and all of this will yield lasting impact. I know this is a lot to consider, and you have a lot of other priorities as well. So thank you first and foremost for your civic leadership, for the role that you bring to the community. Thank you also for your consideration in investing in Harbor House. And Mayor Lamore, is there anything else you'd like me to touch on or any other questions?
No, but Jenny, I will bring this to our next Finance Committee meeting, and the trustees will discuss what we can do. And if anyone in the public would like to help, please contact me or any of our trustees, because we'll take donations from the public and we'll make sure that Jenny gets them. So thank you
Mayor.
very much for
Thank you,
coming.
trustees.
Thank you.
All right, we're still on the village president's report, but I have a couple things I just am going to say before I close it up. The forensic audit is getting very close, so look for something to happen in the next 2 weeks. We'll let you know, and there will be a meeting to discuss all the results. I know that Chris LaRock, our administrator, is going to give a report tonight on some hiring that we're going to be doing, and I'll be asking him to do that in just a few minutes. Something that's happening at the schools this week is Read Across America. And civic leaders in Manteno, I know members of the Chamber of Commerce, I was also notified or asked if I would like to read a book to one of the elementary school classes. And so a lot of us are going in this week to do that. And I think it's a really good thing, and I'm going to make my book funny. I picked one at the library today, so I'm not going to be one of those boring speakers. And I can talk in different voices, so I think the kids will get a kick out of it. I'm really looking forward to it. That's all I have, and so Chris LaRock, would you like to give your report?
Yeah, so as mentioned earlier, Jacob Knox turned in his resignation last week as the Marketing and Community Relations Director and Chamber President CEO. We want to thank Jacob for all the work he's done over the last 3 years. He's done an outstanding job for both the village and the chamber. We'll definitely miss having him around Village Hall. He always had a smile on his face and had a positive attitude, and he will definitely be missed. So we wish him the best of luck in his next position. So we are taking applications for that position right now. We'll be taking those through March 16th. They can be found on our website, the application, or they can be picked up at Village Hall. This is a dual position working for the village and the Chamber of Commerce. We're also accepting applications for seasonal full-time public works positions. We're looking to fill 3 of those. It's a full-time job from April until November. You have to be at least 18 years of age to apply, and this is a union position. And also, we will be taking those applications through April 16th as well. So anybody interested, you can reach out to Village Hall or go on the website and download the application.
What about crossing guards?
That's a continuing thing. Oh, Al left. Yeah, I think they always kind of leave that open just in case, they need to fill any of the positions. I'm not sure that we have any shortages right now, but we're always willing to take names in case we have to fill something.
So all of these applications are available at the Village Hall. Just go over and talk to one of the secretaries and you can fill one out, but do it before the 16th.
Correct.
Thank you. Committee reports, Finance, Trustee Barry.
Thank you, Mayor. Old business on the agenda, none. New business on the agenda, payment of the bills, $114,306.42. Bills authorized and paid between board cycle, $50,524.35. The next Finance Committee meeting report, the next Finance Committee meeting will be Monday, March 16th at 5 PM in the Village Board room.
Thank you. Planning and zoning, trustee Boudreau.
Thank you, Mayor. We have no old or new business on the agenda. Our next Planning and Zoning Committee meeting will be Wednesday, March 11th at 7 AM in the Village Boardroom. Our next Planning Commission meeting for Tuesday, March 10th is canceled. However, I will make, at least for the April one, I thought I had already done this, but I'll make sure it's on the agenda, having a discussion, at least by the Planning Commission, on growth in town, ideas, stuff like that. We kind of started having that in our committee meetings, but I'd like to throw that to them too, just to kind of, again, spark more ideas with it too, of what are they looking for, what would it look like, all that kind of stuff, because it probably would, anything we would want to do would start through them anyway, with ideas. Again, I've been meeting with some people around town. I started meeting with, had a kind of an impromptu meeting with a couple school board members, just again, just a broad discussion on openness, what do they want, stuff like that. So we're kind of, again, just getting into this process, but I think it's kind of, we're making good steps initially of kind of what, as a town, what we want to see if we do with it. And that's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. So that planning commission meeting has been canceled?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Public safety and health, trustee Vaughn.
Okay, old business, I have none. New business, I have none on the agenda. The Public Safety Committee report is going to be given by Jeremy Marzik. Mrazek, is that close? Thank you, Jeremy.
Officer Jeremy Mrazek. I got some read for you guys today in light of recent events. So all the bad things we see on the news every night, occasionally we are asked if we are prepared for a major event. The Manteno Police Department takes emergency preparedness very seriously. While I can't discuss sensitive operational details in a public setting, I can assure the board and our residents that we train regularly for a wide range of critical incidents, including active threats, shootings, large-scale accidents, and natural disasters. Our officers participate in scenario-based training, interagency exercises, and ongoing professional development to ensure readiness. In addition to our internal planning, we maintain updated emergency response protocols and work closely with our fire departments, EMA, school officials, and other local partners to coordinate response efforts. Importantly, we are part of the Illinois Law Enforcement Alarm System, ILEAS, which allows us to rapidly request assistance from law enforcement agencies across the region and the state if a major incident exceeds our local resources. No single department handles a large-scale event alone, and though mutual aid agreements and established partnerships, we have access to significant personnel, equipment, and specialized resources when needed. Our goal is to remain proactive, prepared, and ready to protect our community. Any questions?
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy. All right, if anybody sees anything, say something, report it. And that's the way we can help keep our community safe. And our next Public Safety and Health Committee meeting is March 16th at 5 PM in the Village Boardroom. Thank you.
Thank you. Public Works and Utilities, trustee Crockett.
Thank you. I don't have anything on the agenda this evening, but we do have a Public Works Committee meeting scheduled for March 24th, 7 AM here in the Village Boardroom. Jim, do you have any projects that you'd like to discuss?
We started doing the foundation work over there at the square for the pavilion. Spring cleanup stuff going on. Pretty standard stuff, nothing beyond that right now. I think we're looking into possibly starting up the shed for the soccer program out at Heritage as well, so.
Storm sewer projects are going well?
Both the projects have wrapped up other than some of the landscaping. They got all the connections made up. We talked about that last week. So there's a good chance that that's going to be done here with the warm temperatures.
Got all the snow plows put away, don't need any more snow for the rest of the year, right?
There's 70 degrees and 14 inches of snow still in the schedule, or the forecast for the next 2 weeks, so, we're still in a holding pattern, so.
Wishful thinking, right?
Yep.
That's all I have for this evening.
Thank you. Properties and Recreation, trustee Geske.
Thank you, Mayor. No action items on the agenda this evening. Our next Park and Rec Committee meeting scheduled for March 11th at 7 AM right here at the Village Boardroom. During our last committee meeting, we discussed quite a few things. We discussed some potentials for Reuter Park, possibly doing some improvements there. We also discussed Heritage Park, and I think we were going to talk about that this evening, but it's not on the agenda about the park equipment replacement. A few board members were going to take a look at it, and we're going to reconvene, so maybe we'll just put that on the next park committee meeting to address that again. Other than that, I think we discussed, Jim, the baseball dugouts that we approved last year over at Heritage. Are we going to be starting that work here pretty soon as well?
Yep, that's also on the list.
Okay. And that's all I have.
Did you want to give Annette Zimbelman's report too?
She has no action items on the agenda. Our next committee meeting scheduled for March 24th at 7 a.m.
Thank you. All right, before we go on to new business, I kind of skipped over something that was on my agenda, and it's board participation. And I just want to say that sometimes things come up in our lives and we just have to miss a meeting. But unfortunately, we've had several meetings lately where we didn't even have a quorum, and 2 of those were committee meetings. And it's kind of disappointing. Well, for one thing, we're still having 7 a.m. meetings, and that's difficult for people to attend. We have trustees who can't possibly go, either because they have to be at work earlier than that and they're far away, or they have to leave early because they have a job to go to. So I still would like to encourage us to look again at trying to change the time of some of those morning meetings. I know some of you just really don't want to have an evening meeting, but at least if we did it maybe like we do for 2 committees before a board meeting, we could meet at 5 o'clock and get those committee meetings taken care of. It might be a little easier than going to a 7 o'clock meeting.
I think the problem that you run into is more of us have conflicts in the evening than we do in the morning, and participation would be even less, and that's why on the agenda this evening, the participation via Zoom, and I know that people have alleged that it's just for Annette. It's not. It allows for any village board member to participate via Zoom in any of the meetings. So, and I'll use Mike as an example. Mike can't make the morning meetings, right? I mean, he's working. He may be on drive time. He would be able to participate in those meetings. Todd, you missed a couple meetings because of work obligations.
Yes.
This would allow you, if you're out of state for work obligations, that you would still be able, and we'd still have a quorum and still be able to function. CJ, you coach golf. There's times that, especially in the fall, that you're going to be out, that you can't be at an evening meeting. It would allow for you to still participate. So that's why that's on the agenda this evening. It's not the Annette Zimbelman ordinance, it's the village board ordinance that we're going to be talking about later, but it's to allow for everyone to participate, because I agree with you. We want everyone's participation. We're all here, and I think that if all of us can participate, we're going to have less arguments, right? There's a lot of times that's misinformation.
I don't know if Zoom meetings are the answer, but there will be more discussion about this when this comes up for a vote.
Okay.
And I just want to say that we all live different lives, and some of us are very connected to other things going on in our lives, and some of us can't come in the morning, some find it difficult to come at night, and some have things in both morning and evening. So we have to reevaluate what we're doing here, because we're here to serve the people, and we need to give that short amount of time to some discussion. And I always think that when you're discussing things in a room together is so much better than when you're on a computer or looking through a Zoom. So that's my personal opinion. But anyway, I just want to say that has been an issue lately, and it's partially because we have someone who can't be here, but it's also because other people take off, and they do have some valid reasons for that. So if there's any way that we can fix that, I would like us to try and work on it. All right. New business, consideration regarding a motion to approve an estimate for a change order from a change order from LT Turf Pros in the amount of $46,650 for turf at the Square on Second. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Boudreaux. Seconded by? Crockett. Is there any discussion?
You want to talk about that, Jimmy, about the difference of price, what we had before, and then speaking to the guy, you know?
Yep, we ended up meeting up with the contractor, and they were able to reduce the price about $1,800. This includes extra turf that was going in that center location, removing the sidewalk, so adding more turf and subgrade in that location, and then the fall protection padding underneath the zip line. That area's kind of failed, and looking to update that, make it all turf, so it'll be a nice clean look.
So just to clarify, the $35,000 for the turf was already paid for. So that was incorrect the last time, right, when it was 87,000?
Correct.
Okay.
The turf was paid for before, but the labor of installing it was not. This $46,000 is a change order because we are adding a replacement of that fall zone, and we're also changing the scope of the location of where we were.
But the turf was already paid for, so that's the difference, correct? Okay.
Yeah, the product we purchased a year ago. We still haven't paid for the labor for that original install, and then this is the change order for.
But the overall bill will still be $80,000, but there's a change in it.
You're saying we've already designated that pay, like, we're gonna pay them no matter what, whether we do it or not, we're paying them that. This is just a change.
Correct.
This is a change order to do the repairs.
So there's a motion on the floor. Should we do a roll call?
Yes.
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 Yes. Motion carries. I don't have to vote. You don't have to put my vote down. All right. Ordinance 25-37, an ordinance amending Title III Business Regulations, Chapter 25, Short-Term Rental Operators of the Village of Manteno Municipal Code. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Geske, seconded by Crockett. Any questions?
What were I saw the changes, so everybody's good with the changes then?
Correct, yeah, we clarified like no fee, and then just kind of cleaned up some more language for them on their side.
Okay, perfect.
Roll call?
Yes.
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 Motion carries. Ordinance 2538, an ordinance amending Title I Administrative, Chapter 6, Board of Trustees of the Village of Manteno Municipal Code by adding Section 10, Remote Attendance.
Can I recommend this be put on the next committee meeting? Because I don't know if we have discussed it. That way we can kind of discuss it out fuller before we take a vote on that.
It's a great
I don't even
idea.
know what the next one is. I don't know if it's, I think it might be mine. Yeah, probably mine, 311. So we can just push it to mine if that's
So
okay.
what
We'll
do we
discuss it, then
say
we can always
legally?
bring it back up.
Yeah, but here's the thing, if we do that, Mike can't be at your meeting.
Well, we can do general discussion at the finance too beforehand. I mean, we can talk it through whoever's there and then more general discussion. I
because-
mean, this is the thing that probably would solve the issue, but I feel like we should discuss it probably before.
No, we.
This
we
has
do it.
not been
Definitely
discussed at all.
need to.
That's what I'm saying, like, correct. No, correct. Yes.
And was this written by our lawyer?
Yeah.
Who asked you to put it on the agenda?
Well, I didn't put it on the agenda at all. I said, when I learned that, and I was sick and the vacancy, and the people not showing up to meetings, I said, you guys should have a remote attendance policy. I've had one from multiple municipalities, because it's state law.
Chris, who put this on our agenda?
I did.
Joel did?
I asked for it to be put on.
Okay. Well, we need to have
Because-
discussion before we vote for something.
Can we,
I'm
can
fine-
we,
I'm fine
can we
with
move that to the 16th? Can we do that on, is there a possibility you guys could be here on the 16th?
We can put it on both. We can put it on both.
Put it on the finance committee meeting,
For
and then we
16th.
could put it on the village board
Yeah.
agenda that day too. If we decide to move forward, we can, or if not, but I think that, I think the county does it, and I'm pretty sure that even during COVID, we did that or participated. I think it was statewide.
Everybody did it during COVID. The difference, once COVID ended, they set up a new system for it where the quorum actually has to be physically present. If the quorum is physically present, then you can allow a person who has an illness is away on work, has a family emergency to attend a meeting remotely. It has to be contemporaneous, so you gotta be able to hear, see, talk with them.
I think I know the county does it, but they're the only ones I know of that do it locally. None of the other municipalities do this.
So Joe, one of the issues that I had asked about was our committee meetings, of whether or not, and I'll use the example, Annette, myself, Peggy, and CJ were having, in the committee meeting, CJ had to leave, so we lost a quorum. Would this allow that meeting to still continue if CJ left and was on Zoom?
No, you have to have a quorum present,
Have to have a physical quorum here?
present
Okay,
in the meeting to allow somebody else.
okay,
Right.
okay,
So in that instance, you would have had to adjourn the meeting.
okay,
Which we did, yeah.
okay. Which we have, I just,
Yeah.
trying to find a way to accommodate everyone's schedule and to allow everyone to participate.
So Joe, how do you
It's
want to
not
word
just-
this for the,
Well, if everybody's in agreement just to kick it
Table
to the committee meeting, then we'll just do that.
So
Okay.
do it on the,
Yeah. we can do
Put it on the
16th.
finance
you want
committee
to do it
meeting?
on the 5 o'clock?
That's fine.
Well, five,
That way,
put on the
Like
5 and the
5 o'clock
6,
meeting?
this way we can discuss it at the
Yeah.
5,
Yeah.
and then we could, it'll be on the agenda, because we have to put it on the agenda in order to
Right,
take
yeah.
action on it.
all right, can we move on now to ordinance 2539? Authorizing the sale of personal property, surplus municipal equipment. Chris, you want to tell us what that is?
Yeah, so this is some of the computers that the police department, they've been replaced due to the update of some of the software that no longer worked on those computers. So this is just to surplus those computers.
And for anybody who's listening out there that's interested in purchasing these, where will they be sold?
I know we use online auctions like Binergy and some other ones. I'm not sure which service we're gonna use here yet, but we have been using Binergy.
Are those computers, and I'm just asking this, like, they're still good, correct?
Yeah.
So I
They're
mean,
good- they're good for
does any
general
school or anything else, like, need computers for kids that don't have computers?
I don't know, they're tablets, they're heavy-duty ruggedized tablets. They're just, the software doesn't meet the state's requirements, so we can't use them, but, yeah, they could be used in the general
How many
purpose.
do we have, chief?
Does it say on there? I was thinking 5,
Yeah, he did give us a list, but I don't have the list in front of me.
4 or 5 tablets, you know.
What, did they use them in school?
We're pretty hard with Chromebooks, and I know we just bought some more. I mean, but you could ask, but I think we're built for Chromebooks, I think, is our way so far.
That's
Do
fancy.
do we have a
Yeah.
motion to authorize the sale?
Yes.
I'll second.
Barry makes a motion, Woodrow seconds.
Yes.
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 Thank you. Motion carries. Resolution 25-09, a resolution of the Village of Manteno transferring $600,000 from its general fund to its special projects fund. Did I skip something?
Yeah.
We can come back to that, though, can't we? I mean,
I'll come back to it, I'm so
Yeah.
very sorry.
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
Motion by Geske, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Boudreaux. Any discussion on that?
So I asked Chris to give us some estimates on some of the stuff from the 2024 or 2022, I think it was. And it was like $380,000.
Yeah, so the estimate we got from the state of Illinois was about 280, but it did not include everything that we would be responsible for. Some of it, the decorative lighting on Division Street would have to be removed and reinstalled. Our license plate reader cameras would be our responsibility to take those down and put those back up again. So it probably ended up somewhere in the neighborhood of $350,000 back in 2024 when we got that estimate.
And is there any timeline of when that bridge is supposed to go in?
The latest we heard was that it, from one of the engineers working on the project, is it's likely 4 years out now.
And understand by the moving this money to a special project fund, it's not that we're spending, it's not that we're committing to spending $600,000 on the bridge, it's just making sure the money's there in an account, kind of like if we were planning our own budget of our household and we knew we needed a new roof and it was coming up, we would be putting the money in the savings account. That's really all we're doing here. So this way that money is there for when that time comes up, that we can meet that requirement.
Are we able to move that money back if if it takes longer or we need it?
Yes, it's going into a line item that's designated for that, but it's not a restricted fund.
It's not a restricted fund?
No. You
Good to
can move
know.
it back out if you need to.
So we can
Yeah,
put
we
it,
could
we
use
can
it.
bring it back if we need it.
And that's the reason why I was trying to, I proposed to be more conservative at the $1 million, just there. You can always move it back if you need
We're
it.
making money off of this, making
Yeah,
something.
All it is it's just coming out of your general funds. This way, as our department heads are making their wish lists and like, hey, we've got to have that money for this, because it's coming. And, I mean, if it's 4 years down the road, maybe none of us are on the board at that time. That other board may not know that it's coming, right? Like, up until I brought it up, I don't know that, Mike, I don't know, did you know that we were gonna have that expense?
No.
I didn't
That's,
either.
that's why I brought it up, and that's why I was suggesting the 1 million, but we said as a board that we're comfortable at 600, so.
Is that interest-bearing account, Chris, that we're going to?
Yes.
There's no real change, it's just a
Yeah.
Just move it.
movement of the account
And
that's,
until line item
that's
says-
tagged,
Yeah.
that says, this is for the later, don't count on this
I feel
money.
comfortable with, if we can move it back.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor made by Geske, and was it seconded by Boudreaux? All right, you want to do a roll call?
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
yes.
Motion carries. All right, back to Resolution 25-08. A resolution authorizing the sale of surplus real property commonly known as 409 South Oak Street, Manteno, Kankakee County, Illinois. Can I have a motion to approve?
I have a question about that real quick. So how do we, when we go to sell this thing, Chris, I know that we got an appraisal on it for what, 180,000?
Yes.
So how does that work then with the bidding process? Does the bidding start at 180,000 or where does it start?
No, it's a sealed bid. We didn't put a qualifier in there. So we'll open the sealed bids, whatever we get, and it'll be up to the board to decide whether they want to accept those bids or not. We don't have to sell it.
So if we got like a
Based on
bid
what
for
they-
$100,000, that's the highest bid, we could say no.
Right. It'll be
You-
your discretion.
Correct.
Yeah, I'll actually say if you got, the bid has to be at least 80% of the appraised value for you to take it.
Okay.
So if it's at 100, you don't even worry about it. Yeah, but you can always reject everything.
Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Barry, second by Boudreaux.
Yes.
Yes.
yes,
Yes. Yes.
Motion carries. All right, and finally, consideration regarding a motion to approve payment of bills in the amount of $114,306.42, including TIF number 3 at $0. Can I
I'll
have a
make that
motion?
motion.
Motion by
Second.
Barry, second by Vaughn.
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Motion carries. Comments? Joel, would you like to start?
Sure. First thing, I'd like to thank Jacob Knox for his tenure. He's done a great job for us. He's going to be missed. Big shoes to fill. I don't really know how our summer projects or summer events are going to go on. Hopefully, we find someone to fill his shoes quickly, because I know there's a lot of work involved with that. So, next item I have is congratulations to Manteno girls basketball. That's why I wasn't at the last meeting. I was here for the finance committee meeting, but left because my daughter was playing, talked with the mayor. There wasn't much on the agenda. Something to note, the senior girls, really, they had regional championship that they won. Played in the sectional championship and played a real tough game and lost in the final seconds to Pontiac, who is playing this evening. But this is the winningest team in school's history, so quite an accomplishment. There's been a lot of records broken, and really exciting season, and big shoes for the next class to follow. So, last thing that I'll bring up, and this will be a hot button, I'm sure, but this evening, Mr. Wheeler talked, and I thought we were pretty clear about where we stood with the memorandum of understanding. He's not here tonight to hear me say that. He left, but I don't know, and I paused my microphone and asked Trustee Crockett if we were unclear in any way, shape, or form, and I don't think we were. So anything before Phase 2 starts, I want to see that memorandum of understanding in writing with the safety brigade, and no more he said, she said, or we're working on this. Sorry, it got a little too far down the road last time. Before Phase 2 starts, I would like to see that any way possible. I think we were pretty clear. So that's where I stand on that. That's all I have.
Thank you. Todd Crockett?
Yes, again, just best wishes to Jacob. That's going to be a big hole to fill. Jacob had the right personality, the right dedication for that job, and I think we all like Jacob. He was a nice person to work with. I'm sure he's going to be missed in the village hall as well. I know he did a lot of things here for our community and for the village, and best wishes to him moving on to a new position, and he's definitely going to be missed, and I hope we can find a good replacement for him, because that position's definitely a needed one and a valuable position here in the village for both the village and the Chamber of Commerce. So it's going to take the right person to fill that seat. So best of luck, Jacob.
Thank you, Todd. Peggy Vaughn?
I have nothing.
CJ Boudreau?
Steals my thunder always, yes. I also would like to congratulate the girls' basketball team. Obviously, I taught almost all of them, and I'm usually their main announcer too, so very proud of these girls for making my life interesting in the games, and again, just pride for the town to win another regional. Again, before this group of girls came through, we had 2, and the last one was before 1990, and now we have another 2 in this class. So just again, awesome stuff was there. As winter sports end, as you might have seen if you drove by the baseball, softball, 2 spring sports are starting. Baseball, softball, track and field, girls soccer, and boys volleyball are going to kick off in 2 weeks. So once sports ends, the next one begins, and we're kind of go with that. We've already kind of all said it. Jacob, again, set the standard really high. We love the events that we have, so hopefully another person with high energy on there. I'll just kind of go quickly through. I feel like we talked all the way through most of that kind of stuff with it too, and I'm on the exact same page. Me and Mike have been talking a lot about that too with Goshen. I thought it was very clear of what we want, and again, stating again, we are not moving forward until it is in writing. This is he said, she said, well, this is how things are done. Well, not here. We're going to make sure it's done and kind of in writing to make sure was that on it. And that's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Mike Berry?
Congratulations to the girls' basketball team. That's awesome. I look forward to Jacob Knox. Did a great job. Jacob's a great man. Hopefully everything works out for him in the future. If not, we'd definitely like to have him back. And like I said, I think we're all on the same page with the Goshen thing. I'm not gonna go any further because I think I'd say bad words, but I'll just keep it like that. So thank you.
Thank you. And I just want to say, Jacob said he would not leave us in the lurch. He's going to take all my phone calls. He's going to come down and help us as much as he can, and he'll be here for the transition when we do choose a new employee to take his place. So thank you to everybody for coming tonight and for those who are watching. And that's all I need now is a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion by Boudreau, second by Crockett. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.